Hey folks, how you doing? Dave McRae here. So in this video, I just want to talk about some of the movies that I'm looking forward to seeing in 2023. Now, obviously, this isn't a complete list. This is just kind of what I've been able to kind of gather that's coming out next year on a quick Google search. And there's always movies that sort of, pop up throughout the year that you didn't even know were coming, and you see a trailer and you're like, oh my God, that looks amazing. No way, that looks fucking awesome. I definitely want to see that. And it suddenly moves to the top of the list. You know what I mean? So we don't know what those movies are yet because they usually kind of, spring up out of nowhere. But from just a quick Google search at the end of the year, these are some of the movies that I'm most looking forward to seeing. And I don't want to use anticipated. I want to use, that I'm most looking forward to seeing. Because if I use the word anticipated, highly anticipated, then that might give people the impression that I'm like, oh my God, I can't wait. Oh my God. And it's like, well, there's really only one movie on here that I kind of feel that way about. And it's the first one I'm going to talk about here in a second. But the others, there's a variety of different reasons why I want to see each one of these movies. Who's like that in the movie theater? But anyway, these are the movies I'm most looking forward to seeing. So let's jump right into it. Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. If you follow me for any length of time, you know I am a huge Harrison Ford fan. He's my favorite actor of all time. I am a huge Indiana Jones fan. And you know what? I truly believe, for all intents and purposes, I truly believe that this is likely Harrison Ford's swan song. I don't mean that he's retiring after this, but in terms of being a leading man in an action-oriented role, I really think this is it. I think he knows it. I think we know it deep down. I think the studios know it. I think they want to do him justice. And, it's Harrison Ford. He's one of the great, legendary Hollywood actors. I don't mean legendary in the way that word is so loosely tossed around nowadays. Like everybody's a legend. It's like, no, not everybody's a legend. I mean a real bona fide Hollywood pop cultural icon. He is the Clark Gable and Humphrey Bogart of his generation. He's one of the great last movie stars. I mean, I know for you younger people, you might be like, because you've only known him like as the old guy, but I'm telling you, he is one of the great cultural Hollywood legends. He will go down as the Humphrey Bogart, Clark Gable of his generation, and that's what I'm talking about. And then you got John Williams, the greatest cinematic composer in motion picture history. It's supposed to be his last movie he's ever going to score. Holy shit. And then you got James Mangold taking over for Steven Spielberg. If anybody was going to replace Spielberg and give you some sense of confidence that maybe the film still has a chance, it's James fucking Mangold, the director of Logan, Ford v Ferrari, 3:10 to Yuma, Copland, Walk the Line. I mean, come on. Holy shit. You know what I'm saying? I like the teaser trailer. It got me in the feels. The de-aging of Ford. Holy shit. Fucking incredible shit. Seeing Sala again. I liked it. The only thing I'm worried about is how much of this is going to be Ford. Because, obviously we know he's not doing the big stunts. He wouldn't have done the big stunts back in the 80s either. But Harrison Ford has always said, I don't do stunts, I do physical acting. And for many years he did. And what he means by that is that, getting into a tussle, running down the street, being pushed up against a car and, having those nice close-up shots of him getting into a fight with somebody and all that kind of stuff. Physical acting. And he did a lot of, he didn't do stunts, but he did a lot. He did probably more than what he probably should have done way back then. So it worked back then because when Vic Armstrong had to step in, that was his stunt double, had to step in for him on, the Indiana Jones films, you bought it because you saw Harrison Ford being so physical earlier on. So you believed that it was the same person. The guy riding the horse and jumping off the horse onto the truck in Raiders isn't Harrison Ford. That's Vic Armstrong. But you don't think twice about it because a second later you see Harrison Ford open the door. Do you know what I mean? Like it's because he's young enough to be doing those things. In here, Harrison Ford injured his shoulder rehearsing physical acting on the set of Indiana Jones 5, where he had to be MIA for 2 months. If he's injuring his shoulder to the point where he's got to be off, the film for 2 months, rehearsing physical acting, how much of Ford is in this movie? Is he just in this movie as he walks from the bathroom to the bedroom to get his Cialis or something? I don't know. Like how much of it is him? And that's what has me a little worried. However, James Mangold, the cast, the crew, they've all come out and said, no, he's fucking legit. Like he's doing some stuff. Now, maybe it's just to kind of, You know what I'm saying? But that's my only worry. I'm not expecting him to be, doing but I still want to see him. I still want to believe. I want to believe, damn it. Believe. So Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Another one for me would be Beverly Hills Cop 4. I'm a huge Beverly Hills Cop fan, big Eddie Murphy fan, love the first two. Third one, we can pretend that didn't happen. But certainly Eddie Murphy in the 80s was huge. Beverly Hills Cop, Trading Places, 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop 2. I mean, he's a legend, absolutely. And the only thing I'm worried about with this is that Axel Foley, wasn't very PC, and those movies weren't very PC. I'm not suggesting they were overly vulgar or anything. They weren't. But, he wasn't afraid to do a funny voice or a funny accent or pretend he was gay, with a lisp and, all that kind of stuff. I mean, obviously that's in the writing, but, it's the character, right? I don't want to see a watered down Axel Foley. I want to see a hard R Beverly Hills Cop 4 where I'm going, yes! And I want to hear, and he's fucking, I want Axel Foley, man. You know what I mean? I know. I'm probably wishful thinking, but my fingers are crossed. So, obviously, these two movies, Indiana Jones, Beverly Hills Cop, nostalgia for me as an 80s kid. So, but I'm looking forward to it. My fingers are crossed for Beverly Hills Cop 4. Another one for me, would be The Exorcist. Now, I'm a big Exorcist fan, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. I still think it holds up today. Slow burn, mood, atmosphere, it's creepy, it's eerie. I'm looking forward to it because it's a direct sequel to The Exorcist, but I'm also not looking forward to it because it's a direct sequel to The Exorcist and because David Gordon Green and his team didn't do anything with Halloween that made me feel like I should be excited about this. I'm not saying he's a terrible filmmaker. I'm just saying, for me, the trilogy fell flat at the end. And you're doing a sequel to one of the greatest horror movies of all time, the granddaddy of Exorcist possession movies. It's like, what are you going to do that we haven't seen already? It can't just be about demons and crazy things. And, the original film had real heart, had real weight to it, right? It really was about a priest that lost his faith because he felt guilty about the death of his mother. And, he needs to redeem that. And he meets this little girl who he doesn't know. And when Damien meets Reagan, Reagan's already possessed by Pazuzu, right? So, and at the end, he ends up sacrificing himself to save a little girl he's never met. Like that's crazy. He never met the Reagan we met at the beginning of the movie and at the end of the movie. He met her when she was already Pazuzu. So, there's real weight, there's real character drama in that film between Damien and, Father Merrin and all that shit. There's real philosophical debate that's there and it needs that. The Exorcist isn't just another possession movie, and there's been so many possession movies and so many Exorcist movies that just are sensationalized. We've become desensitized to them. I hope this sequel is a thriller drama. That's what I want. Mood, atmosphere, slow burn, really get us attached to those characters, and then hit us with all the nice little sprinkles, but I don't know, man. I want to believe, believe, I want to believe, maybe I'm just being too lenient. I don't know. But there's that one. What else? Megan. It comes out next month in January. Megan. I'm looking forward to it. I really liked the first trailer. Wasn't a big fan of the second trailer. I don't know. There's something about the second trailer. It showed a lot of the same shit, but maybe it was just the order was cut in. I don't know. I like the first trailer better. The only thing I'm worried about with Megan, and is the same thing that I worry about with Chucky, in the Chucky sequels, not so much in that first one, but is that I need to believe that the humans in this movie are completely inferior to this fucking doll. And with Megan, it looks like it looks like it could be more believable because the doll, if you will, has a fluidity to her, has an agility to her. Like she's human, like she's a human, obviously that was an actual person, but like with Chucky, it's all stiff and dolls, and things like that. But with her, she almost looks creepier and almost looks like she would be more of a threat because of her agility. Because, if you don't have that and it's just like a mannequin or like a plastic doll, there's so many times where I watch these movies with dolls and I'm just like, just pick up the fucking doll and smash its face. Just pick it up or take it to the top of the Empire, State Building and just fucking throw it off and just punch it in the fucking face. And like, come on, you're a human, man. The doll, like, just fucking beat the shit out of it. You know what I'm saying? So in order for, to have me suspend my disbelief and believe that every human on the face of the planet in this scenario is at the mercy of this doll, you got to do a good job to make me believe this doll's fucking is completely in control here, and so that would be my only reservation. It's just like, I hope when I'm watching the movie, there doesn't come a moment where I'm like, oh, come on, just fucking beat the shit out of her. Just fucking pick up the fucking doll and smash its face. Just fucking turn it off. Just turn it off, light it on fire, something. You know what I mean? I just hope that doesn't happen. But Megan is one that I'm curious about. And I wasn't going to put this movie on the list, but I watched the trailer again and I'm like, you know what? I actually do want to see this, and that's Cocaine Bear. I just think the title is, and it's based on it's based on a true story. I put it in air quotes because obviously they are going to take creative liberties. But I got to see this. I mean, maybe it's going to be like another Lake Placid. I don't know, but I definitely got to see this thing. And maybe they'll do sequels. They'll do Cocaine Bear, Heroin Bear, Meth Bear, LSD Bear. I don't know, Blueberry Muffin Bear. I have no idea, but this first installment, I think this is going to be a movie that Tony Michael and I watch, a first time watch on Two Dudes and Some Bullshit. I think, I mean, you just got it. Another one that I'm looking forward to is Ghostbusters Afterlife Part 2. I'm a big fan of Ghostbusters Afterlife. I thought it was terrific. I thought it was exactly what it needed to be for the series. You go back, you deliver something familiar and safe, and then you go forward. That's what they did with The Force Awakens. Unfortunately, then came The Last Jedi and their part 2. So I'm hoping that Ghostbusters Afterlife is not the last Jedi of the Ghostbusters series. You'll often see that with rebooted franchise. They will deliver something safe and familiar to get you all back on board, to earn your trust. And then the next one they do is maybe a little too avant-garde or a little kind of too out there and a little too unfamiliar, and you lose everybody again. Scream right now is facing that, right? Now, Scream didn't need to get everybody back on board necessarily, but they delivered a Scream movie in Scream 5 that felt very safe and familiar. And now they're taking it in a different direction. They're going to New York City and all that kind of stuff, right? So I don't know. Is it going to work? I don't know. I am looking forward to Scream as well. So I can put that on the list because I'm curious. I'm not the biggest Scream fan overall. I really only like that first movie. And when I say I really only like that first movie, I don't mean I hate the others. I just mean it's really that first one that I think is the perfect example of what all the Scream movies are trying to be. Will Scream 6 deliver? I don't know. Maybe it will be exactly what the Scream franchise needs, which is a huge, injection of adrenaline. And it's like, yes, this is, and it reinvents itself. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm curious about it. So Indiana Jones, Ghostbusters Afterlife, Scream, The Exorcist, Beverly Hills Cop 4, Megan, what else? There was another one too. Does The Joker 2 come out next year? I think it does. I'm very curious on seeing that. I love the first one. So I'll put The Joker on there. I'm a big fan of the first one. Love the first one. Didn't think it needed a sequel, obviously. What a shock. I usually feel that way about shit. But I'm curious about it for sure. I'm cautiously optimistic. And we'll see what happens. So I'll throw that on there as well. Oh, Insidious Chapter 5. Again, I'm looking forward to it because I'm a huge fan of that first Insidious. I don't think Insidious, the first one, gets enough credit personally. I think it's a really solid, eerie, slow burn, mood, atmosphere horror film from James Wan. It usually gets overshadowed by The Conjuring, and rightly so. I get it. That first one is really good. But I'm a huge fan of that first Insidious. My only apprehension is that, how many part 5s can you name that are really good in horror franchises, right? Not too many. So I don't know. It's Patrick Wilson's directorial debut. Looking forward to that. I think Rose Byrne is returning as well. So I'm looking forward to it. Again, like these are movies that I'm looking forward to, that I definitely want to see. My name's Dave McRae. Comment below and let me know some of your most anticipated movies of 2023. Let me know what they are. Maybe you share some of my movies. Maybe you don't. Maybe you have a list that's completely different. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. I would love to know. If you want to follow me on social media, you can. There are my links right there. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. All my links are in the description. Check them out until your heart's content. And when your heart is content, check them out again. That's going to do it for me. In the meantime and in between time, I will talk to you soon. Cheers.